So today we're continuing the series of The Hustle Never Sleeps, the Women's or Queen's edition. I've chosen 5 women in particular that I truly, truly admire. I spoke to Lady Scorley last week, and today I bring you yet another creative woman from Cape Town / South Africa. I think we could say it's a national perspective, maybe even global, perhaps, but we'll get into that in just a bit. I'm sitting with Jabu Newman, who is a filmmaker as well as a photographer, and we'll chat about her works and also her journey of pursuing her passion completely. This is The Hustle Never Sleeps. My name is Carissa Cupido, and we're sitting in Batavia Cafe in Boerkaap. Jabu, thanks so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
It's so lovely to actually sit down with a fellow woman who's also kind of trying to make her own mark in this creative game. I do want to know, though, where did it all begin for you? If you can take me back to Jabu Newman, the baby you, do you think that creativity was always part of your future?
Yeah, my dad and my mom forced me to go to piano lessons and arts lessons and stuff. So it's always been a part of my life, just with different mediums. And then I think that when I really decided on photography and film, that was actually in university in my second year. That's when I decided to take that on. But yeah, I've always been interested in art and creating.
Yeah, in the arts, right? That's really cool. I always find it fascinating how either somebody stumbles upon it later in their life, or if they've been instilled, or it's been instilled from a really young age. So you spoke about varsity. I know you studied politics, you studied media, you studied film, which kind of fits right into that.
Yeah.
How was your journey in the tertiary education space, being a creative?
First year was a complete bust. I studied philosophy and economics and all this stuff, and I realized that it wasn't for me. So when I actually did get to study the things that I liked in second year, which was media and politics and film, that was really cool and it was really good and I learned a lot. But yeah, I think I got to a point last year where I was I needed to learn things for myself and do things for myself. So I took a year off and I've just been focusing on my own stuff, and I appreciate what UCT has done, but there's a lot more to learn out there.
Yes, of course. And I love how you said once that we kind of need to create our own narratives, and I feel like you maybe needed to take that break to gain a new perspective and be I need to write things from my own perspective, right? And you've done things like the Foxy 5, which is the web series that you launched not too long ago. What was that like for you?
Yeah, that was a very intense and emotional experience.
Yeah.
I wrote it during the Fees Must Fall protest, so in November, and then I only shot it in April. But yeah, it was something that was stuck in my head, and an idea that came to me one day, and I just couldn't get it out of my mind, and I knew that I had to film it and get it out there. So yeah, it was actually really rewarding doing it.
Yeah, because I know you've got a fictional group of women of color, right? And I also want to know from you, being a woman of color in the creative industry, do you think that there are any challenges that you face from a day-to-day basis, or perhaps when you go forth into your particular projects that you want to do?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, when it comes to film and stuff, when it comes to corporate jobs in advertising and things, the misogyny is rife and
so real.
And yeah, there's still a lot that the rest of the world need to learn about how to treat women, and how to also just treat women of color in the industry, and how to appreciate what they're doing and what they say and valuing it. Because yeah, there's still a lot of voices that are only being told, and still only stories that are being told, or stories that are told by the wrong people.
Yeah.
But yeah, there needs to be more women of color in the industry.
For sure. So for people who don't really know what the Foxy 5 is all about, could you give me a brief little bio as to what it is all about?
So basically it's about 5 women who are friends who start this group, and they're kind of fighting racism and sexism on the street in funny ways. And yeah, it's trying to like explain intersectional feminism and using different archetypes of women and different archetypes of Black women feminists. I was like sitting with my producer the other day, and we were like, it's kind of like a research project because we're like learning so much from each other, and every new thing that we're learning, we're adding into it, and we're like creating new ideas and new stories. So yeah, it's really interesting.
So how long do you think this web series is going to go on for? If it was up to me, I mean, it would be indefinite. But I feel like, is there an end point, or do you think that all your work will continue dealing with this sort of stuff?
I want to do it up till December, and then possibly look at getting it on TV. I would love that.
Yes, please.
But also, there's like a part of me that's like, the next thing I want to do can't be political at all, because it's so stressful and it's so draining, and it's like so intense to always be dealing with those issues and thinking about it.
Absolutely, yeah. It's so important to take care of yourself, like throughout doing this. It makes it really, it's taxing on your soul, right?
Yeah,
because you're dealing with
much.
Topics that are so true to who you are. Okay, so moving on from challenges, what do you think the highlights of your career have been so far?
I definitely think being in the Mail and Guardian, I was like really surprised and really happy, and it's just also something that like your parents can see and be like, oh, okay, this is legit.
Yeah,
you know?
like, Mom, I made it. Like, I'm not just playing around.
Exactly.
Here.
I'm in the newspaper which you read. So that was awesome. And like on the Friday that it came out, like the Saturday, it was like my grandfather's birthday, so I was with my family and everybody got to see it. So it was awesome.
Celebrations.
Yeah.
Now listen, you touched on the response from your parents, and sometimes the older generation doesn't really understand, especially when you're like, I'm doing a web series, question marks all around, what the hell is that? So how has that response been from your parents? Have they supported you? Have they been there to cheer you on all the way?
Yeah, I mean, I think my dad was very much like, he was just like, oh, a film. Okay, cool. You're making a film. Yeah. That's how they understand it. But he hasn't even seen it yet. But and I know that he's just proud of whatever I do.
Yeah.
And I think he's just proud that I'm talking about these issues, because like my dad is the first feminist I knew type thing.
That's amazing. Yeah. Sure. So he also like pushed you to do those things in his own sort of way growing up, right?
Yeah.
And Jabu, just to end off, if you could say any words of advice to women or young girls who are in the same position of you, maybe they're also studying and not really resonating very well with the material they've been given, or they want to do their own things but maybe a little bit scared in pursuing their passion, what advice would you give to them?
I would say definitely find other women to work with and other people who understand where you're coming from. Because, once you have a team of people that understand your vision, you'll be able to accomplish anything, because, people coming together, it really helps. And that's the biggest, help that I've had with the Foxy 5, is just having a strong team of women who, are so dedicated to getting this out there.
Sure. Your squad, in other words, right? Your girl squad. I love that. I just came across a song recently by Nadia Rose called Squad. You need to check it out. I feel like you guys should make your own version of this Cape Town edition of Squad.
Awesome.
Yeah. Thanks so much, Jabu, for sitting down with me. I really do appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me.
And thanks for watching another episode of The Hustle Never Sleeps, the Queen's edition.
This is Good Hope FM. Turn the radios up. Connecting Cape Town.
Thanks for watching another episode of The Hustle Never Sleeps. Now, if you haven't caught previous ones, it's okay. You can catch up right over here. And also, if you haven't subscribed to our Good Hope FM channel, be sure to do so and join our family right over here.
And if you want to check out any of the Foxy 5 episodes, please check it out over here. Thanks.
In this nether region. That's not nether, that's above you. We should stop right here. Okay, we're done.